We I don't know what I was doing, but hello and welcome to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shakita, and my fabulous co-host Tracy. How you doing?
Hey y'all, I'm good this sunny day. It's actually really nice outside.
I haven't been out yet. I will be out in a few, hopefully. Just run into the store. I've been trying to do Sunday dinners more frequently. So only once a month will I invite a family over. So I did my family last week.
Oh,
Next month, I'm going to do Darius's family. And they're
okay.
probably like, "Oh, we didn't know. We didn't get the invitation yet." No, because I want to solidify it in my head first.
I like that. I like that because it kind of like makes you stretch yourself a little bit, right? And you have more conversations over like a planned meal, I think, than if you're just grabbing things on the go and not really sitting down and being intentional about things. So I love that. That's a great new tradition to start.
Yeah, I feel I'm at that age where grandma needs to be having some, dinners.
Oh, you don't look like nobody's grandma, but I know you are.
I need to be like my mama, just a little bit. A little
Big
bit.
mama, big mama. So speaking of big mamas, and we had not planned this conversation, but have you watched the new Medea at all? The new Medea Tyler Perry film on Netflix?
With the brother?
Yeah, so it's actually not even a Medea, but I mean, it's Medea's brother and Medea's in it,
Mhm.
but it's Joe's college road trip. So it's
Mhm.
all about Uncle Joe and his son Brian, who Tyler
Mhm.
Perry plays Joe, Brian, and Medea in this,
Mhm.
but they lean less on those kind of like um goofy supporting characters and lean more into the family relationship between
Mhm.
Joe, and so it's the generations, Joe, his son Brian, and his grandson, who I can't remember what the grandson's name was in the film, but
Mhm.
to me, this is Tyler Perry's best movie to date.
Really? I
Yes.
haven't no, I haven't. I saw it come up, and I'm not one of those people that hate Madea movies. They're what they are. They're the goofy ones and whatever. So I might just go ahead and give it a try because I'm trying to watch things that are just less taxing on the brain.
Yeah,
I
you
just
gotta
want
give
some good
yourself a break.
comfort TV.
You gotta give yourself a break because you deal with a lot of stressful topics with your community engagement. Obviously, work for everyone is stress inducing. Then people don't realize like what you take in, be it music, podcast, whatever art or entertainment you're taking in has a huge impact on your psyche and how you feel. And I think I may have said this many times before. I love the singer Adele. That's like one of my favorite singers.
Del too.
But I did notice at one point in my life that when I would listen to her too frequently, like on repeat every single day, it actually affected my mood in a negative way because all of her songs are kind of downers. And I
This
and
is
I
true.
noticed it. I noticed the difference when I stopped. So now I listen to Adele in doses. Like, maybe I'll play for a little bit, but if you listen to if you take in the same type of things, negativity of any kind repeatedly, it
Mhm.
affects you.
You know who used to love Adele? He probably still does, but Jabril did. And
Yes.
before he left for the military, he used to play. I don't know what CD it was, but it was the one that had "Hello," that song "Hello."
And so that might have been 30 because I think it was 19,
Yeah,
21. I forget the other ages because they're all her
her
ages. Yeah.
age, and I mean, before killed it that whole summer. So
Yeah.
then when he left for the military, and like around the fall, whenever I would hear that, I would just break out in tears.
Yeah.
And even now, I get even though he's home and blah, blah, but when I hear that song, I go right back to that place. So it's one of those emotional songs for me. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah. And it's like that movie Sinners, they talked about how music can unlock spirits. And I think that Adele music unlocks spirits in me personally. Like other people can probably listen to it and nothing happens to them.
Mhm.
but I literally, like, fell into a small
Mhm.
depression just
Mhm.
listening, and it probably had to do with what, things that were going on, but I thought I was generally a happy person at that
Mhm.
time. You just do have to be careful what you take in, so it's good to mix it up. It's good to identify what does make you laugh, what does make you smile. If for my mom, it's the AI toddler stuff on social media. She loves it. And she's like, "Are you sure this is fake?" I'm like, "Mommy, it's definitely fake. But if it makes you happy,
Mhm.
I mean, go ahead. Go ahead, sis." But yeah, you have to, and even the music or the things that make you smile, like you have to identify that and make sure you fold some of that into your weekend. I think honestly, this Medea movie, I think this is a Medea movie for the people. And I'll
Okay.
leave it at that. I'm not going to say anything else because I want you to watch it. And I'd love to hear your opinion of it either when we come
Mhm.
back together or if we do a live or something again. I'd love to hear your opinions of what he did with the film.
I wanna go back to music because I was in the car the other day, and I will watch it. I was in the car the other day, and my breakup list came
Mm.
on.
You
I
made
went back.
a breakup,
I did.
playlist? Okay.
I do. I have a breakup playlist, and it is so Heather Headley's song came on. What was it?
Whoa, that's a
I wish
throw.
I wasn't. Girl, I felt all the emotions of that time, which wasn't that long ago. I would say about 3, 4 years ago. And I felt all the emotions of that song. And every song that came on afterwards, it was, I think, and then Beyonce's Resentment was on the
Mm.
playlist. Yeah. So, yeah, the songs definitely do unlock.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tap into that. You can, tap into that if it's the right. I literally got like chills when you said Heather Headley and you said that. So I hadn't thought about Heather Headley in probably a decade.
I mean, yeah,
But
for me
but
to
I
put it,
but I
that song was to the
that's like
gut.
That Deborah Cox song.
I hate you so
Um,
much right now. Is
how
that
did
one?
you know? How did you get here?
Yeah. Oh, yes. That is one. Listen, if you do not know these 2 women and don't know these 2 songs, I suggest you go and take a listen because
Yes.
they are they might not hit you the same way because hopefully you're in a better place than I was 5 years ago.
And speaking of like, and I didn't even know you were going through that, girl. I'm sorry. I would have tried to be there for you. We could have ate sweets together and and talked trash and maybe plotted against this person. But I speaking of like unsung female vocalist Emily Sandé. Have you ever heard of her?
I don't think so.
She's actually see, this is she's Scottish or Irish, but she's African and white. She's mixed African and
Okay.
white, but she's either Scottish or Irish. And I'm
Mhm.
sorry,
In
Emily,
the
because
mix,
I'm
okay.
messing it up. She has a song that literally brings me to tears when I hear it. So if I really want to get a good cry, because I'm not a big crier, if
Mhm,
I
mhm,
want that cry, I can put that song on and I'm
mhm,
gonna get it all out. And it's
mhm,
called Here to Help or something
mhm,
like that. But it's just basically saying like you're not alone. Don't ever think that you're alone. I'm here to help. I'm
mhm.
like a shoulder to cry on. And you're like the strong one, but even the strong people need some girl. I'd be like,
But that's how I was with Michael Jackson's, "You Are Not Alone." That used to get
"See."
me too. My God, and it just the way he just sung it, it was just that slow melody of it, and
Yeah.
it just I still feel that way when I hear that song.
Ah, I love that.
Mhm,
I would love
mhm,
for our listeners, whoever's listening to this episode, like we love listener engagement. Drop like your jam into the
mhm.
chats on YouTube or, wherever you're listening to the podcast. We like to know what song makes you cry, what song is your breakup playlist song, or what songs, get you pumped. Like I know if I want to get into exercise mode, I'm gonna put on LL Cool J.
Really?
Yes, Headsprung, Mama Said Knock You Out. Like
Mhm,
I can walk a 5K, which is not that, it's only 3 miles, but
mhm,
I can
mhm.
walk a 5K listening to just LL Cool J bangers because and Megan Thee Stallion, like they get me going.
I mean, I feel like for exercise, anything that just has an up tempo is going to get me, kind of like moving. I could listen to the Bee Gees and I'd be up there. I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah.
but I do have my favorites. I'm weaning off of Beyonce right now,
Okay.
but I
Any
still
particular reason?
Rihanna, I'm disappointed in Beyonce. I'm very disappointed in her.
Okay, we'll leave it at
Uh,
that for now.
yeah, yeah. The whole I told you, it was the Kirshner dinner. Like, why would you sit next to those people? Like, they're not the fucking devil, and oops, I'm trying not to curse because Ramadan is on Wednesday, starts on Wednesday,
Yes,
and I
yes,
gotta get
that's
my
true.
whole cleansing out, my
Noah
mental cleansing.
is ready. My
Really?
guy is ready. He's been talking about Ramadan for 2 weeks. So
Okay.
he did it like full-fledged for the first time last year.
I remember.
And now he's mentally preparing to do it again. He's so excited about it. And I'm happy for him because
Mhm, mhm,
I think it is good for him
mhm,
emotionally, although he has not converted. It's
mhm,
something that he looks forward to. And I'm like, I love that for him because it
mhm,
makes him happy and it will help ground him spiritually.
mhm.
He's already a really great person anyway, but I think it just will add more to just his character and things like that. I'm excited for him to go into Ramadan again, like, well prepared this year because he was still learning a lot last year from
Last
my
year.
brother-in-law, and he was, like,
Mhm.
he, like, called my brother-in-law, was asking him for guidance and things like that, and at first, I was kinda like, being a mother hen because I was like, he just got home from work. He needs to, eat his first meal for the day. Like he needs to eat. But he was on the phone with my brother-in-law. So he didn't end up eating till like 9, 10 o'clock that night. And I was
Mhm,
like, he
mhm.
needs to eat. And my husband was like, no, you need to just remove yourself right now. And at first I was a little insulted. And I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, we're talking about you. He was like, this is more sacred and it's more important. He will eat and he'll be fine. And I was like, mm.
But he
Tell me.
probably wasn't hungry because as soon as it's time to break fast, and you do, it is required that you do break the fast with like, something like some dates or some water or whatever, and then pray and go on. A lot of times you are not hungry.
Yeah, he was.
As much as you would think that you would be starving from
Yeah.
just having that one meal at breakfast and nothing during the day, you think you'd be starving, but you're not.
He was more interested in receiving the knowledge, and that
Mhm,
adrenaline, I think, kept
mhm,
him from being even hungry, and he after the
mhm,
call ended, I think the call was like it was about a good 45 minutes, he did end up eating, and I was like, "You know what? I do need to, like, humble myself and remove myself because it's not my business. He's grown, this is what he wants to do, and
mhm.
I am his mother, but he ain't never missed a meal, and he could wait a few more. He could wait
And
45."
that's the thing. We think that, of course, food sustains us, of course, but we think that we have to have so much of it. And I think that's just an American way of thinking as well.
Mm,
And
okay.
when you look at the plates of other people in other countries, it's not the same as ours. Ours is like just stat deep with everything for
Yeah,
no reason. And we definitely eat beyond what our stomach can take because we stretch it out in so
yeah.
many different ways. I just had a fritter. I didn't need it. Yes, ma'am. Let me tell y'all, I've tasted basically all the apple fritters from, all the little bakeries, especially in all the supermarkets. Shaw's knocks it out the park.
Oh, that's interesting.
Love them. And I've been buying like 2 a day. Shut up. And my thing is like, well, Ramadan's coming and I won't be eating as much because it's the
Yeah,
sugar. And honestly, it's just dough. There like might be like a little couple of pieces of apples in there, but it's just dough.
yeah.
And it's delicious dough glazed with some sugar. Love it.
That's
Love
good.
it.
I'm excited for Ramadan, for you and for Noah and everyone who observes. And I'm excited that spring is soon approaching. Like I feel so good that we're this close to March, which means that spring is upon us. Like I'm so ready for Q1 to be over
Mhm,
as far from a
mhm.
work perspective, from a weather perspective, all of that stuff. I'm ready to like just move forward into spring and summer. I'm so ready for it.
And I say all the time, no one appreciates spring and summer like New Englanders do.
Yeah.
It's because I mean, each season, in my opinion, is very beautiful. Even though it's been like, freezing cold, we've had this snow that has like lingered on and it's icy or whatever. I'm not mad about it. I go outside, and the reason why, and 2, the cold weather like this is extremely humbling because it lets you know all the things you have to be grateful for. A
Mhm.
home, heat, being able to pay for that home, being able to pay for that heat, food in your refrigerator that you can come in from the outside and it be, like bristling cold and then come into a warm space. I'm grateful. It teaches me
A car to get
a
into
car,
if you
definitely.
have one and you don't
Mhm.
have to stand at the bus stop. Because sometimes I get in my car and I'd be like, "You know what? This is not my dream car."
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it gets me from A to B, and
Warm.
it's warm. It has a remote starter in it, so I can get into a warm car if I need to. It's not, the BMW or the Mercedes that I would like, but this car serves me in so many ways that I have to just be grateful for it. This is the car that I have now, and at least I got a car and, that kind of thing. So you're right. It's like being grateful for the four seasons because some people don't get all these great seasons that we have.
Mhm.
And I love the fresh snow. I do also love the
I
fresh
do.
snow. I'm ready for it to be
And
off
I
my
like the cold.
front sidewalk.
I don't like it when it's this and it's piled up so high because it's difficult. Sometimes you can't see around corners. You really do have to slow it down. And I don't think a lot of people get that. But before we get into our subject, I have a grandson story.
I do want to hear this.
Okay. So all week long, my grandson has been begging me to take him to a Times 2 Academy basketball game because supposedly there's a player on there who's supposed to be the best in all of Rhode Island. This is what my grandson is telling me, and he just wants to watch him play to study. Okay, I can do that for you.
Ooh, I
I can
love this
I can
strategy.
right? Right? And then so then yesterday morning he goes, "Oh, the game is in Wakefield." And I was like, "Ugh." I said, "Well, let me look up and see how far it is." And it's 38 minutes. Not a big deal.
To
I
that.
drive farther for myself. So I was like, "No problem. I will be there. Just be ready." Of course, I get there. He's not quite ready because I feel like if somebody's bringing you somewhere, be downstairs, be on the porch,
Getting
be
better,
in
right?
the hallway, be in the hallway.
Not making this about me, but I'm getting better, right? When you come to get me.
You're an adult. You're an adult.
But I
Get
was
I
really
give
bad
you
at
your
that.
but I always come earlier anyway and then do my little thing and then, so I'm not a problem. But when I go to pick him up, we're always on a time crunch. Be ready. Be downstairs. So he gets in the car. We head out to, Wakefield, which is what, North Kingstown or whatever. So we pull up on this Prout school. I don't see no cars. I said, Darius. He wakes up because he slept the whole ride. He wakes up.
Convenient.
Where are we? Where are we? I said, there are no cars. There's nobody here. Did you have the right information, the right school? And I look at the Instagram post or whatever, and he's like, yeah, it's supposed to be here. There's a game today or whatever. And then I look, February 12th was the game. I didn't even say nothing. I just pulled out of the parking lot, drove all the way back to Pawtucket. And then before he got out the car, I said, don't ask me for anything this week. Don't call me for anything this week. That was 71 miles to not get out the car.
We were just talking about gratitude. That was 71 miles of you and your grandson having time together, even though he was
He
asleep.
was asleep. He was asleep.
You
Mofo
let
was
him sleep on the
asleep.
way back too?
I think he was too scared to go to sleep on the way back. He was just on his phone, not
Oh,
saying nothing, because he's probably like, I'm grateful that this lady's not giving me a full on lecture. Because, 'cause the only thing I said when we pulled out of the parking lot is like, you got to do better. You got to do
my
better.
goodness. So to
That
bring
was
it
on
back,
me.
to the Medea thing, when you see how Joe handles his grandson,
Okay.
if he ever watches that movie, he'll be grateful that you reacted the way you reacted and not like Grandpa Joe, because Grandpa Joe would have left him over there in Wakefield and made him walk home.
1 miles. In my car, it was being shady because it usually, or maybe I had pressed something or whatever, but usually I don't see, this trip was come up on the dashboard, but this particular last night it
My
came up.
gosh.
This trip was 71 miles, an hour and 48 minutes, and
Your
something.
car was like, "You don't normally do this, so Imma let you know what you did." right here because this is Shahida, I think someone stole your car is what I'm saying. That's what the car was saying. I think I've been stolen because this is not your normal your normal
You don't
activity.
you don't go it's like you go to Boston, you go the other way, but you never go this way, ma'am.
Yeah, that's so funny. But notice how you said this week, because now it's Sunday. This is a whole new week. He can ask for anything he wants today, and you're gonna do it. You gonna do it. Don't act like you're not gonna do it, because you gonna do it. It's fine.
Tracy, I don't like you calling me a sucker.
You have confessed to this already on this podcast. So I don't know why you're
I
acting like
know.
you don't know,
I
because you already
know.
you know.
I know, but I'm not driving him nowhere today. I'm like, I'm just gonna every time you ask me this week, I'm gonna be like 71 miles.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be your
71
inside joke
miles.
for, like, forever now. That's so funny. But he learned the lesson, and now he's gonna double check, and you're gonna double check too.
No, I'm gonna double, triple, and quadruple check behind him because
That's
you ain't playing me no
hilarious.
more.
That's so funny. My
February
gosh.
12th. Anyway, but times two academy, congrats on whoever this player is. And I hope I do find out who he is. And I also hope that I do get to see him play because obviously he's making a name for himself that other, kids want to go and, check him out. So I think that's pretty cool that he wants to check out, the competition
That's
and, you
good. That
know.
then that's getting him more into, and like you said, he's a freshman and he's like already ahead of his pace for being in high school basketball. So by studying other players and really taking it seriously, by the time he's getting ready to go off to college, he'll have a really great highlight reel because he'll know the things, because that's what it's all about when you're doing high school sports now, when you're trying to get your kids into college, whether they're going to play sports there or not, getting that reel
Hmm.
together is like everything is online now. Everything's
Yeah.
your social media, it's, your highlights, all of that stuff. So
And keep
that's
them damn grades
exciting.
up.
He'll
Let's keep
be
them
he'll
grades
be
up.
applying to colleges before you know it. So those college tours are going to start soon.
No, why I just even last night I was thinking, I'm like, I remember if somebody had told me when this little big-headed boy was like a year old that I'd be doing all this trucking back and forth for him. It's not that I wouldn't have believed it, but I couldn't imagine him being as old.
And girl, you just getting started. You got a new, fresh out the pack one at the house. Well, you gonna be doing that too in another 15 years.
Mhm.
When you're, the cars will probably be driving. The cars will be driving themselves by then. You just press a button and then you get to your destination.
Moving on
Moving on,
from
moving on.
my personal crisis with this child. But so it's been an interesting week because we've heard a little bit more about, and we're just going to touch really quickly on that Savannah Guthrie information. So the deadline for that ransom came and
Yeah.
went, still no information. I know the last time we spoke, we said that what was reported then was that the ring was disabled, but they actually caught the guy on camera going up to the ring and then going back into her garden or her
Mhm.
side front side and grabbing like some dirt and leaves and twigs and putting that on front of the camera. So it could have been disabled when he went inside because they did say that the ring was cut off in that they didn't have any footage of them leaving. So still nothing, and very concerned about the situation. It's like,
It's
why
been
this
two
woman?
weeks.
Like
Like
you said, well, it's coming up on the third week.
when has anything like this happened in recent history? Like, I can't recall. Like, this is giving me like Lindbergh baby vibes almost. You know what I
Mhm,
mean?
mhm.
It's not good for this family.
Or
It's
something that
very
you hear
sad.
about happening in Mexico or Venezuela or a lot of, South American countries where actual kidnappings are pretty popular, with wealthy families. So her being an extension of Savannah Guthrie. Anyway, it's very sad. Still no news. Now they're expanding the local police to work with the FBI. I don't know why they weren't working together before, but they obviously are struggling trying to put this together.
Yeah, and I don't, there's a lot of misinformation floating around socials. I heard one rumor that the man was Latinx. I heard
Yeah, and they went to someone's house.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's even true or not. And then I saw something that could be footage, could be AI, I don't know, but it was like the person on the ring cam and they had a ski mask, but they looked like there was a mask under the ski mask to completely obscure the actual face of the person. So that was
I
even
didn't see that.
creepier. It was creepy to look at. So I don't know what's true, what's not true. But like I said, in law enforcement, the standard procedure is they are going to give out bits of information. They're not going to tell everything they
Mhm,
know. They're not going to
mhm,
reveal their full investigation in hopes that people will say things about the case that they know but no one else knows to try to catch a
mhm,
culprit. But I'm like, let this woman go. Honestly, it's sad. Like, drop her off at the mall. I don't know. Like, just
mm.
let this poor woman go. And I hope she's in good health. And I hope she manages to thrive without her medication, without her family, just being probably scared out of her wits, if anything. But I don't know.
Yeah, that level of fear, would not wanna be going through it.
Yeah.
That
Horrible.
level
Horrible.
mhm. So and also, too, with another big story that was in the news is the Stefan Diggs went in for his arraignment, pleaded not
Yeah.
guilty for what was it, assault and strangulation on, a cook?
Yeah, the person that was preparing meals, I guess at their home, a personal chef or something like that.
So then I read online, and this is what made me wanna talk about Stefan Diggs just for a quick second.
Yeah,
This
I got
man,
time.
supposedly the woman that he assaulted is pregnant with his child.
Mm,
I'm not sure how true it is. Again, online stuff. But what is true, 6 children, multiple baby mamas. I think it's down to 6 baby mamas.
mm.
Does this and all of them born between the oldest is 9, and I think they what, between 2013 to no, 2023 to 2025. Most of them are born, except for the 9-year-old, during this time period.
Yeah.
I as a do people not believe in condoms anymore? Like, especially if you have so much to I mean, if I'm a man and I wanna keep my money and I wanna grow it, I don't think I would wanna be giving out money to all these different women to support all these different children. And he seems like he's involved with his children, but why 6 babies with 6 different baby mamas in this day and age?
And I brought this up about Cardi in the
You
past. And
did.
it's like, I just like I want her to want more for herself and her kids because it's having a baby with him and he has all these other kids just doesn't impact her. It impacts her other three children. Like, no
Mhm,
matter how much money you have, there's so much emotional intelligence required to manage that kind of household. And I'll leave it
mhm,
at that because I'm not shaming her in any way for having two different sets of fathers for her
mhm.
children and having a child by this man. My mother had a child with a man who already had five kids before me. And that is not even my mother's personality. I was like, my
Mhm.
dad definitely, and I say this all the time, he was just the man. He was just the Mac. Okay. I'm like, I can't believe, and I'm glad to be here, but I'm just like, what about this situation? Because he already had 2 no, 2 children's mother. Yeah, he had 2 women with 2 different sets of kids before I was born.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, I personally, I maybe because of my experience with that, wouldn't want that for myself.
Mhm.
But, to each their own. But I just think that he has a lot of growing up to do in so many ways. And I don't know if he did this thing to this woman. I'm hoping that she's not also the woman who I thought she was the cook for his family, but I don't know. Either way, you
Mhm.
shouldn't strangle any woman, pregnant or not pregnant. You probably
Yeah.
also shouldn't be sleeping with the help. And if you do sleep with the help, a condom would be nice. I mean, it's 2026. We have the morning after pill. Everybody in this scenario had options because y'all have money and you have resources. So if you're in this situation, all y'all want this. You all want it. And I guess if you like messy and then you're okay with it, I don't know, it's too messy for me.
For him, and I'm not talking about the women, but for him, because he has the most to lose, they will gain a check. and then they can go on and have a family with someone else and be married or whatever. They'll be set for a while. But for him, that's thousands of dollars a month
Mhm.
leaving your bank account to go to someone else's because you lack self-discipline. And I
And
mean, really, it's just self-discipline.
it's not even guaranteed because while you're
Exa
good and while you're healthy, you have that income. While you're within a contract, you have that income. But there's no guarantee. You could be disabled due to injury playing football. Your career could just, completely
Mhm,
fall flat. And then what? Look at all the NBA players that were high up on the horse, like what's his name? Antoine Walker. These other guys, they had
mhm,
so much money and now they have nothing. Like
yeah,
they literally are starting from scratch again. And is if your reputation is shot to the point you can't get a commentator job, you
mhm.
can't get a job, elsewhere in your field, what are you gonna go do? Are you gonna go work a normal job? I doubt it. I doubt you're gonna want to go from wearing diamonds on your neck on the football field to going to work at Home Depot or,
Mhm.
or an office job or something like that. It just like you said, it's like, what do you think? What is the mindset? And this is how I feel about Nick Cannon. Like you have buckets of money. I know you can
Mhm.
afford it, but why? And he finally stopped. I don't think he's had a baby in like 2 or 3 years.
I think he acknowledged that he was doing too much as
But
well,
like,
but
why? Why you want to do like even if you want to have quote unquote raw sex, make her take the thing in the morning. Just give it to her with breakfast on the tray. Like, come
how about
on.
just don't do it? I mean,
Right. Do you not worry about people don't worry about AIDS anymore
I guess not. I get
or
that was my thing.
STDs?
Like,
Like,
you would think that you would worry about those things at least, what could be passed on to you, even if it's herpes. If you don't have to get it, don't get it.
yeah.
But you're just out here all willy-nilly just slinging it into any old body. I don't understand why you don't have more respect for your penis.
Yeah. And like you
And
said, it's like that's too many kids to have in the course of 9 years. Even for a family who's like a committed husband and wife in monogamy, that's too many damn kids in 2026 to have that close together if you don't have your shit together.
and person that if you and your man decide to have them, that's none of my business. How many you have is on you. You have to raise them, you have to feed them, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, different households shooting it out into like different households. And again, people don't worry about HIV anymore. People don't worry about STDs anymore. I mean, who wants to be bothered with that? And then in the same breath, you have these men who will talk shit about Russell Wilson being married to Sierra, who has one child, and they went on to have several children together, and they
Yeah.
call him every kind of name because this man has been disciplined enough, not only up to build up a brand of his manhood, but then also to be a family man. So he's doing the right thing, and then you got Stephen Diggs. Why don't you follow that example?
Yeah, and I
You
think
know?
wasn't Russell on a celibacy journey? I don't think he was a
Hmm,
complete
he was.
virgin, but I think he was on a celibacy journey right before Sierra or something like
But
that.
that was because he was with somebody before, and then
Yeah,
after that breakup, he said, "Let me try this." I don't know how long that lasted, but he was. But again, it's so with Stefan Diggs, he's burning the bridges for a career after football because
yeah,
now you have this strangulation, domestic abuse, you're all over the place. So now they say, "Oh, anger issues, all this." When you should be building up a family man image
yeah,
because that's what sells on TV. Now you can go the route of a podcast, bro. You can do that. I mean, Shannon is doing pretty well. I think there's a couple of other football players that are doing pretty well with podcasts. But you also have the ability to say, you know what, I want to do the sports for whatever New England station is out there, CBS News, NBC Sports, whatever. But now you burn those bridges. If you don't get yourself together, that's what's going to stick in people's memory.
and here's the thing with those kinds of like post athletic careers, Tom Brady, cute to look at, excellent player. Don't nobody wanna see him commentate. It is like watching paint dry, and I hate to say that. I know you don't care because you don't like that dude anyway.
No, and I've seen him. It is like
Not
watching paint dry,
no bueno, no bueno. So you have to have a personality. People
but
have to
he's gonna
wanna
keep that job forever.
they have to wanna see you out there. I don't even know if Stefan Diggs can form a coherent sentence. I don't think I've ever heard him speak. Doesn't mean that he might be, Yale level intelligent. I don't know. But when I look at a Jalen Brown, when I look at a Jason Tatum, those men just carry themselves so
Mhm.
well. They
I love
represent
Jalen.
Boston sports so well. And I feel like the Patriots, we this happens to us, and I'm sure it happens all over the league. But we get these players that have tremendous athletic talent, but they just don't follow the protocol when it comes to public relations. You got
Mhm.
Aaron Hernandez, complete shit show. Antonio Brown, terrible, came out here and just cut up. We've had this happen with this, and I hate that it's usually like these men that I believe are like they come from the inner city, they come from lesser. I mean, it's like you have this opportunity, and it's like maybe do you not know what to do with it? And I don't know anything about Stefan Diggs. He could be a nepo baby for all I know, but I
Mhm,
don't think he
mhm.
is. It's like you have this great opportunity, you have this money, you have this power, you're using it in all the wrong ways.
But and it also goes to who you pick as your heroes. I don't know who his hero is, but
Yeah.
had he picked somebody like a Russell Wilson to look up to, then you would follow that lead more than anything else because we
Yeah.
also don't know. I mean, for all we know, Russell Wilson could be disgusting behind closed doors. But I'm going to go by what he projects with his wife and his
Yeah.
family, which is not that. So then you would think you would try and have that level of respect, not only for yourself, but your children, your career. As when you and I do things, we think about how is this going to affect my job? When I say things of how is this going to affect my, my the people that I work with,
Yeah.
my family. It's not like I'm doing anything but I just want to maintain my reputation.
Yeah.
Maintain my reputation so that no matter what, if I get fired or laid off tomorrow, I can go someplace else because I've already put stock into who I am and what type of person I am going into another job. You're just being immature and you're too old to be this damn immature. And
Mhm.
as for Cardi, like you, I'm a huge Cardi stan. I love her. I mean, love her in the sense that how we love celebrities or whatever. I
Yeah.
like her a lot, and I think she's funny, and I think she can be very smart. But she has made some decisions about her personal life that are questionable. And I was really rooting for her and this guy to work it out. And the reason why is when she picked him, I was hoping that he said to himself, you know what? I want better for myself. I have this person who is on my level as far as money and probably has way more money than me. And she's willing to take a chance on me. Let me take a chance on myself as well and do better. And now they're not even together.
Right, because there was some rumblings, and I don't know what's true, what's not true, that he invited a woman to the Super Bowl, or there was a woman there
His
at the
baby
Super Bowl
mama.
and then this woman was also involved with her baby's father, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's just, again, it's too messy. And this is where I appeal to young women. The burden should not fall completely on us, but you have to use some discernment when you're
Mm-hmm.
laying down with these people because a lot worse can happen to you than a pregnancy. And of course, children are a blessing, yada, yada, yada. I'm also very pro life. So I'm like, you have options.
I'm pro-life, but I'm saying
You have a fling with Stefan Diggs, with the condom. You don't have a baby with him. You don't, not at this point. Maybe if he had no
unless
kids.
you're desperate and that's what you want the check at the end of the day.
And Cardi's not, she doesn't need his
But
check
that's
or
not
his
her.
baby.
Exactly.
So it's like, girl,
And it
why are
was
you
too
doing this?
soon after your breakup with your,
After, but also after Blossom
Mhm,
just had this, now she has Irish twins by two
mhm,
different men. And,
mhm.
the whole thing that Offset was barking about was that she was having sex with Stefan Diggs while she was pregnant with his baby. It's like,
Yeah,
girl, if you don't care about yourself, you shouldn't be having unprotected sex while you're pregnant with a
yeah.
man who's in the streets.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I forgot about
Heavy,
that part.
heavily
That
in the
she
street.
was with him while she was pregnant, and the fact that he was with everybody.
Community dick. That is community dick. And you already went through this with Offset, like
Yeah.
really bad. So it's like you would think that would be like, cautionary tale. I'm gonna work on my career. I'm still gonna, have sexual partners. I'm gonna try to build work on a but like you said, too soon after that, those breakups were overlapping. The breakup and the new relationship were overlapping like a mofo.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And the thing too that kills me with the I completely forgot about that, but hopefully she'll get it together. I mean, her children will never have to depend on him
She
for
got
you.
it together. I mean, if anything, she's nursing a broken heart. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
She looked like she was having a good ass time because did you see the photo of her over Bad Bunny's shoulder at the rap party?
I thought somebody said that that was AI.
I don't know if it was AR, but I loved it.
Mhm, mhm. I thought someone said that it was AI,
It probably was
but we know that
AI.
she probably had a good time regardless.
It
So
looks like Cardi's type behavior.
yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, what else is happening?
I have a
Did you know that
surprise.
I know you do, but before that, I'm surprised that you did not talk about Rhode Island Fashion Week. Isn't
I
that
gotta
coming
get
up?
it is coming up and I will post all the things here. I have to get more involved with Rhode Island and Boston Fashion Week. I used to do those things like when the pandemic hit, I kind of fell back from a lot of stuff and then I never really got back involved with it again. Even like
Mhm.
New York Fashion Week, girl, you
Yeah,
could
you
set
used
your
to go.
clock. February and September, you could set your clock. But honestly, a lot of designers are not even doing runway the way they
Really?
used to anymore because it is such an expensive production. Because it's
Mhm.
not just get models, book the models, book a venue, put the clothes on them. Everything from their nails to their hair
Mhm.
to their
Mhm.
makeup has to be top notch. And if you ever go behind the scenes of a fashion week, just getting the nails done is you have like probably I think when I was at one of the shows, there were probably 10 nail techs that were flown in from around the country
Mhm.
doing press on nails for just one runway show that lasts for about 15 minutes.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
the amount of money in that room just on the nails,
Mhm.
it was well into probably not six figures, but it probably was close what they spent
Mhm. Mhm.
just to get the nails right for that show. So some of the runway folks that I reach out to, like I reached out to Badgley Mishka last September, and they're like, we're not even doing a show this year. And
Mhm.
they just celebrated 100 years a few years ago. So that's not 100 years. They had a milestone, though. They had a milestone fashion show just a few years ago.
Mhm.
It's expensive to do
Mhm.
runway. It's expensive to produce stuff, and then there's a big push against fashion being bad for the environment too. So people are kind of like, instead of all this, and then there was also that exposure that a lot of designer stuff is just really made in China. That came out a couple years ago. So a lot
Mhm.
of people are realizing like you're paying for name, not qualities.
Mhm.
You know, that's kind of where it is. People are not
Mhm.
spending as much on designer either.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
I know people do say in some instances you are paying for the name and not quality, and I think that goes for some bags. And then there's some backlash. But you look at a Ralph Lauren t-shirt compared to I don't know, whatever or a H&M t-shirt. There's a seriously quality difference. I'm still not gonna pay $300 for a white t-shirt, but you can't tell me that the quality of that white t-shirt that has that Ralph Lauren symbol on it is not better. So I get it. So you kind of like pick and choose your battles. And I know there's been a big debate, and I want your take on this
Mhm.
and on coach bags. So this one girl, she had posted that she had bought this coach bag and she was in love with it. It was her first one. And I mean, trolls came in from like, "Oh, girl, that is nothing. Who wants a coach? That's like the bottom basement of coach." I was like, can this woman not be happy? I do not love a signature coach bag. I love a leather coach bag. I
Mhm.
love a lot. And my favorite that I don't even own is a Dooney and Burke. I love Dooney and Burke bags.
Mhm.
That's one of my favorites. I do have well, yeah, I do. I have one, but it's a luggage thing. Yeah, so what's your take on being our resident fashionista on especially on people who criticize people who get, you know, just starting in with, like, these levels of main brands? How do you feel about that?
So I'm glad you brought this up. So I will
Okay.
go back and say that definitely there is a quality difference a lot of times in materials and execution when it comes
Mhm,
to the designers. So you are paying for name, but you're also paying for the stitches actually line up in a straight row, and we're done, we're not done by children necessarily.
mhm,
So there's that. But what I will say is someone who has worked in luxury. I worked at Gucci, I worked at Saks and Bloomingdale's and with some of the top end brands, and I learned the production methods for these. What I will say is I love to mix high end with low end because you can find quality even at H&M. I have a
mhm,
dress that I got for H&M. I paid 20 bucks for it. When I wear that dress, people think I'm wearing Chanel. I
mhm,
have a pair of shoes I wore on New Year's Eve and people are like, "Oh, those must be Gucci." They were $40 and I got them from Walmart. It's
mhm,
how you put the fashion together. But what I will say is that don't come for people about Coach because Coach is one of the most illustrious brands when it comes to quality
mhm,
and material. And they're over 100 years old. And they started as a luggage company, just as Louis
mhm,
Vuitton did, just
mhm,
as like Gucci did. Those started as luxury luggage companies. So people would travel by train and they would have these, really beautiful pieces of luggage made. And that's kind of like Coach's start too. But a Coach bag is a great bag and it is a designer bag. So
mhm,
people coming for Coach is a little bit crazy to me because I think they're going on price point and not on quality. And
mhm,
that just means if you don't know, you don't know. And logo wise, people are moving away from logo. So they're doing less of that monogram than they were before because now wealthy people have decided that's cheap looking now. So now people are going away from that and they're going more to like solids. I personally like logo. I think
mhm,
if you put it together nicely, it's very cute. And Coach has an amazing line of logo bags that they put out and they keep selling out of it because they've added like these rainbow crystals to it. And
mhm, mhm,
it is so stunning. They have purses, wallets, the whole collection. And I know that when you go to the premium outlets, you'll end up at the Coach outlet. So they do have a Coach outlet there. But I've even heard people badmouth Michael Kors and say like Michael Kors is low end and Mark, things like that.
mhm,
But they'll go out and get a Marc Jacobs, which is like essentially the same type of material. And
mhm,
then because they paid more for the Marc Jacobs, they're saying that's a better bag. So I personally don't believe in shaming people for their budget or their taste. As long as if something looks nice, it looks nice. Like don't just go off of, oh, it's this name, so that makes it nice. I've seen some hideous designer stuff. I've seen stuff that's like it costs $1,000 for the pants and 1,500 for the shirt or 5,000 for the coat, and I wouldn't wear that to take the trash out. So no.
No, and I agree 100%. I believe in the only I just do not like a lot of bags. I just don't think they look good, but the one that I have said has always knocked it out the park for me, and it doesn't look so ostentatious, is Gucci. I
Yeah.
feel like a Gucci bag, it is I don't know, it's even though it's all over, that G is all over, it still looks more subtle, you know, than most of them that I see. But
A nice
that's
Louis logo too.
I like Louis, but I've never been a fan of their leather.
'Cause it's not leather. Well,
Okay, then
they
that's
do have
why.
leather. They do have leather bags, but the bag that you're
With the
probably talking about,
logos.
the Neverfull, which is that tote bag, that's coated canvas.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like that. I don't like that. But like for Coach, I always felt like I don't know, that's just I love that. I love Coach.
Yeah.
I've always have loved Coach. They're leather bags and I had several when I was younger and I wish I see a guy on
Yeah, you
Twitter
gotta keep those bags. You can
and
refurbish
he
them.
oh, I was like, I could what? I could have passed that down to
You
my
never
kids.
throw those things
Beautiful.
away. You never
Mm-mm.
throw those things away.
And I didn't
Yeah.
throw it away. I just gave it away.
Or gave it away. Yeah, no, I'm supposed to inherit some bags from my aunts. They
Mhm.
kind of were like, when I go, and I'd be like, Auntie, you're gonna always be with me. But when they go, supposedly when they go, I can have these bags. I'm like, listen, I will take those
Put
vintage
it in the
bags.
will. Make sure
Yeah,
they put it in
yeah,
the will.
write it down, write it in the notebook if you have to, stick it in the bag. So, when they open it up, they could say this shipped to Providence, Rhode Island. But
Mm.
yeah, no, I think that, it's what you do with it. I also like MCM. I love the MCM logo. I
Mhm,
always thought
mhm,
it was really cute. Like I first came across MCM when I was like 13 years old.
mhm.
And I didn't know they had a MCM store because, what we saw a
Yeah.
lot was like fake stuff that was Down Dudley or,
Mhm,
that Dapper Dan had made for other people. And that's how we kind of got into logos. But when I found out they had a store, I was
mhm,
like blown away. I'm like, oh, this is a real designer brand. Yeah.
mhm. I'd have to look more into them. I don't remember what they look like. The name sounds familiar, but I can't
Okay. Hold
see it
hold the
in my
line.
head. Okay.
Because now this
You
was
got it
not
right there
planned.
on the floor?
That's
Okay,
MCM.
okay. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, yeah, I don't like people who shame people for their stuff.
People just were looking for attention. And I think if somebody likes something and I come across it on social media and I don't like it, I just don't say anything. I'm like, oh,
Exactly,
next.
you
I
just
just
keep
swipe.
going, but you
Yeah.
also don't have to, rain on somebody's parade. That woman was happy to have her first coach. Just, "I'm glad, sis, I'm glad for you," and
Well,
keep it
Coach
going.
Wristlet, a Coach Wristlet
No,
baby.
she was just no, it wasn't a wristlet, it was a
No,
full
I'm
purse.
saying like that was that girl having that little Coach wristlet on your
Mhm,
hand, the little zip wallet thing. Like you,
mhm.
that had us in a chokehold in the 2000s. I wish I still had some of those little ones. You gonna make me go to rent them this
Mhm.
week and go get me a little Coach wristlet to be
Too
walking
funny.
around. Now I'm in my fanny pack era though.
Hmm,
I
who's
stay wearing a fanny pack now.
really?
Yeah.
No, I haven't had one. I do have a fanny pack. I have a couple, but they make them differently now. I like the way they're kind of like shaped like in the pill box or whatever. I like those. Those are cute. Not the traditional like one that we had that, had us in the 80s, but
I still wear those too. I have
mhm.
probably like 4 or 5 in my
Mhm.
rotation,
Mhm.
and one of them just like I got it from Miss Pat. I went to one of her comedy shows,
Mhm.
and she was like, she had a merch table. When I tell you, I wear that fanny pack, and especially when I'm traveling, I love a fanny pack because when you go to the airport, yeah, and you're trying to get they want show me your passport, show me
Mhm.
your ID, take out your tickets, like all this, like take out, even if it's just your phone and you got it's like, where did I put it now? Didn't I
Yeah.
put it through the scanner? Did I check it in the bag? The fanny pack, everything is there. And I don't have to
Mhm.
touch it.
Yep.
I don't
I
have it
love
on my
them.
shoulder. Yeah.
I love it for
So,
traveling, like you said.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just wear it every day. But I just have one thing before we go. I don't
Okay.
know. Do
I
we
know
have
you've been
time?
waiting for this.
Do we have time or should we save it?
Well, it's what? We're 58 minutes in?
Okay, we
We
have
got
2
time.
minutes. So it's Black History Month. So we want to do some positive Black history and talk about a set of books. So I'm opening this package. You guys can see I'm opening this live on here. So it's like the reveal for you guys. We came across an author on social media who does children's books. And what's different about these children's books is that they actually address boundaries for children, and they also feature children of color. And so they are titled The Voice in You, and these are really impactful. The author is J. Renee Roden. She was kind enough to send us a collection. Look at all these books and how beautiful these covers are.
Mhm. They
See them
are.
raising their fist.
Mhm.
So this is a 6-book series. Book one is Justin's story, and it's about navigating boundaries. Then there's Olivia's story, and they're all named after different children. But I think more than ever, and we won't get too much into what's going on in international and national news right now, but our children are, outside of our eyesight are not always safe. So we have to prepare them for the world and what people might, try to do to them who don't have their best interest in mind. And that comes to protecting their bodies, understanding their bodies. And that's what this book series is about. So Jay Renee, she's a mother of 2. and she's a creator with a background in communication. And who better to write these books for children than someone who understands communication? And communicating with our kids about their bodies and being safe is just, it's paramount. It's the conversation that we need to have as much as we need to have the birds and the bees, as much as we need to have the talk about being black, brown, or other in this country. Talking about their bodies is very important. And it's time to stop hiding shame within our families,
Mhm.
sexual abuse, and encouraging sexual abuse. And, we can't always protect our children, but we can open up dialogue to try to prevent things from happening, or to at least have them come to us if something is happening. And that's what this series is all about. So we're
So,
excited
can
about
you give, like,
these.
a quick synopsis of, like, I know you say, like, Jaden's story, so what is
Yeah.
Jaden's story? Just so that people get an idea of, like, what each of the books are talking about, what topic they are, about.
So this one is about Justin and his mom, and like they have a special handshake, and there are different characters in the book. So it shows you on the back of the book like how who each of the characters are and their different ages. And Justin's young enough to still be strapped into his car seat, but it's just like talking about experiences that happen when they go to, other family members' houses, or like maybe, there's an uncle that's asking you
Mhm,
to sit on his lap or asking you to
mhm,
do inappropriate things. And that's the thing, is that, it's not always a stranger that's out
mhm.
there to hurt our children. Sometimes it's the people that's closest to us. So it's about Justin's experience actually talking to his mom about things that happen when he's outside of the house. Things.
What's the title of that book? I know Voices in what's the,
Yeah, so the
subtitle?
voice in you, and this one is book one is just Justin's story. So each of them says short stories to guide you when navigating body boundaries. And so
Okay.
each one is just named after a particular child, and they have their own story. So you can see like some of them are teenagers, some of them are small children. You
Mhm,
have boys, you have girls, and their spectrum of skin tones and things like that. So I like the diversity here, but it
mhm,
just talks about, family members. And there's also at the back of the book, which I really like, there's a number to call if you know someone
mm,
who may be a victim. So it's actually 1-800-656-HOPE, and the numbers for hope are 4673. So 1-800-656-4673. It's free, confidential. It's a 24-hour line, and there's also a website to help support people. But I mean, I think it's safe to say most people know someone who's been abused
mhm,
sexually in one way or
mhm,
another. Some of these people, it happened to them as children, and it happens to young children. It happens to older children too.
mhm,
I think
mhm,
Sugar Ray Leonard was talking about being assaulted as a teenager, just because he was a boxing, phenom, and there were, coaches that were trying to assault him, just
mhm,
taking him to his bouts and things like that.
mhm,
So you
mhm.
have to constantly have a conversation with your children. Of course, as parents, we don't want to put more on our children. Sometimes we're scared to introduce topics that we think are, too much or too overwhelming for them. But it's better to have an age appropriate conversation with them at different stages than to have a big, bad conversation with them after something happened because we didn't prepare them.
Yeah, think ugh. It
It's hard. It is hard.
and this is not new. Like we said, this is centuries old problem. And I think the benefit of talking and reading something like this to your child is nothing takes away the shame, because we can sit there and say a
Yeah.
million times that, we don't want the child to be ashamed. And a lot of times, regardless of what we want, they're going to feel ashamed. And a lot of that
Right.
shame is saying, this happened to me, or I feel uncomfortable with this, or like, I think about something that happened to me when I was 17, and I'm gonna tell you. And this is the mind frame that I feel that a lot of children have. Now, so I was out late at night on my way
Mhm.
home, and there was somebody walking behind me. And it was, where Woodrow Ave is. It was in that area, and a lot of vacant
Yeah.
lots and stuff in that area. And something told me to run.
Mhm.
But also said, well, I would feel stupid running, or embarrassed to run, even though there was that part of me that's telling me that I was in danger. And I knew but I was talking myself out of it. was I 17 or was I turning 17? I was like 16, 17 in that frame. Before I could really react, next thing I know, a knife to my throat.
Mm,
But I didn't go with my instincts, and I think a lot of children feel that way, where if when an adult is around or whatever, that they have to think more or less about that person's feeling or how we would make that person feel than our own safety. So hearing something like this is like, and so because I had that experience, I talked to all 3 of my kids about similar until it wasn't until like their 20s that I actually told them like that full story.
yeah.
You know, blessings and grateful enough that I wasn't like raped, but that's what was the intention, you
Yeah.
know? But I think about how children do not tell. I have another incident, but it didn't happen to me, where, you know, a person was being felt up by their relative's boyfriend or something. They
Yeah.
didn't say anything for years because they didn't want to rock the boat, but then also they convinced themselves that they were maybe not being felt up when they were. You know,
Yeah.
so these are conversations you do have to have, and it's very enlightening for this woman of color, a Black woman, to actually do
Yes.
this because it happens so much in every community. Not one community is exempt of it, and, you know, we have to protect our children at all times.
And you can actually follow this author on social media. That's
Mhm,
J. Renee there. And this is her illustrator, T.L. Holiday, both people of color. So, and I think the books help. The point
mhm,
of the books is that if you don't know how to start the dialogue with your child, you can just introduce this as your storytelling bedtime story, or, maybe your child's literature break or whatever, maybe
mhm,
even a school essay or something like that. I think this is something that really needs to be spread so that we can prevent things from happening. And like I said, it happens sometimes so close to you
mhm,
that you have that seed of doubt. And as women, I think it's especially in females, we are
mhm,
so worried about other people's feelings that we're like, well, I don't want this one to get upset, or I don't want to feel stupid because I ran. Yes, if
or
you're
made to feel like it's my fault.
right. If your hormones are
Mhm,
telling you, or your all your senses are telling you fight or flight, that's what happens. And I'm sorry to hear that that happened to you, and I'm glad that you were not brutalized in that interaction. But having a knife to you, that's traumatic. That is
mhm, mhm.
terrible. So if you don't mind sharing, like, how did you get out of the situation?
Well, thank God I did. So in that area, it's in Dorchester, and there was a vacant lot. So of course, you know, he drags me to the vacant
My
lot
God.
and he tells me to take my pants off, which I did, and lay on the ground. And I laid on the ground. So he started fumbling, and I'll never forget it. It was a tan members only jacket,
My God.
fumbling trying to get it down, and in that brief second of him trying to get the zipper down that was stuck, I just jumped up and ran. And there was
Oh
an
my God.
apartment building across the street, and I rang different numbers in apartments, and nobody wanted to open their door. So finally this woman, this young woman, opened her door, and I ran up to her house. But he wasn't he ran after me to a second, but once I got to the sidewalk, I guess he probably went his
Oh
own
my
way.
God.
But or at least I thought. But then when I get to her apartment, she was nervous about letting me in. She didn't know how old I was. Two,
Okay.
she thought this was just like, you know, a fight between a guy and his girlfriend, didn't know if he would be, you know, she was young too.
Yeah.
And so she didn't know. So called the police. The police came. Did they bring me to yeah, I did go to the police station, and then my parents were called. Now, see, I'm mortified because I was on punishment.
Mm.
I shouldn't even been out.
So
So I was
that's
trying
probably
to get
playing into
home.
your response. That
Yeah.
probably played into your response.
Yeah. And my parents, I went out to dinner. So in that time, I went out with my friend at a party on what street was that? I don't know. I went out to a friend with, and so I was trying to get back before my parents got home.
Uh-huh.
And I could see Blue Hill Ave. I could see all the people walking or whatever, but this particular street was pretty deserted, and it had like several empty lots on the street. I can't remember the name of it, but Woodrow was the next street over, like if you
Yeah.
cut through. So
Wow.
Yeah, so called the police, went to the police station. The police went out there. The police went out there afterwards and they was just like, "How did you get out of the lot?" And I'm like, "I ran." And it's like, "You ran through this lot." And I was like, "Yeah." And it was like full of glass and I didn't have like a cut or anything on me.
Adrenaline.
Yeah, so I had no cuts or anything, and that was it. I went to the hospital, they went over it, they suggested I go to therapy to kinda like you said,
Yeah.
it was like, traumatic. I wanna say I was starting the 11th grade that year, so it was, my junior year of high school. So, yeah, I mean, and I always go back to why didn't I just run? I felt that I wanted to run when I knew that person because he was very slick too, because he came up beside me at first and was just like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "Fine." And then that was it. Then he kinda like fell back. And then when he fell back, then I was just like, I felt uncomfortable. But
Right.
that was,
You're
of course,
yeah.
when he was getting his knife and stuff out, making his decision to do what he was gonna do. So it was,
And I think books like this, if you start a child young understanding to listen to the warning signals, because
exactly.
I believe that's, part of the storyline is like if you feel like something is wrong, you need to say something. Obviously in that moment, you're trying to reconcile everything in a very short period of time, but maybe had you had the preparation to understand like if I feel scared, I need to get to safety. Whether
Right.
it's running, whether it's going where there's a large group of people.
And
I
it was a
think
block
yeah, I
before,
think
because I
it's
could see Blue Hill Ave right in front of me,
I
and
can
that gave
picture.
me
Yeah.
comfort is that, "Okay, I'm, like, so close to people, so just calm down," when I shoulda
Yeah.
just ran.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like also having, the dialogue with your kids to say, because this is something we always told our children is you can tell us anything. We
Mhm.
we might get upset, but you can tell us no matter what it
Mhm.
is. You can tell us
Mhm.
anything. And we always try to teach our children about their bodies and respecting their bodies and, their boundaries and things like that. But it's sad that you have to prepare your children because there are predators everywhere from the time that they, are babies to a junior in high school. You think by then, your work is still not done, that you're still a child and you didn't have the life experience to understand that maybe walking alone at night, there's safety in numbers, or we
Mhm.
just think we're invincible. I remember being like 18, 19, walking around Jamaica Plain at midnight by myself,
Mhm. Mhm.
like thinking that I owned the world and nothing could
Mhm.
happen to me. And it's like just that quickly in the blink of an eye, something can happen,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
you. So yeah.
And I think a bigger conversation is like I was just reading a book a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things is that a child was being molested by this man, and the man was telling him, "If you say anything, I'm gonna kill your father, your mother, and your whole family and everything." So he didn't say anything, which I thought was just horrific. But that's one of those things too that you have to, you know, impress upon your children when people tell you this particular thing that no, they absolutely will not, and they cannot hurt. I made my kids for the longest time, I swear to God, they thought I was a superhero until they was a teenager, and they be like, "Oh, this chick is fucking mortal," because no one can hurt
Yes.
me. No one can hurt me.
I would tell my kids, if anyone tells you that, just know Imma fuck them up, and so will your father.
Exactly.
So don't let nobody tell you that because we're gonna go over there. My kids come. Listen, let me tell you about the whites. The whites don't play about their family. Okay. We're gonna
Mhm.
rally, and I'm married
Mhm.
into the white family. But when something happens to one of the whites, it happens to all of the whites. And we're pulling up deep as hell, all of us. So play with us if you want to. But I think my
Exactly.
kids understood. But your kids
And
have to know.
they have to.
And please, oh my gosh, and I know we gotta wrap, but this is really why the Cardi thing bothers me so much, is you're bringing this strange man around your other
Yeah.
kids. And you don't know him like that. I don't care how you know him in the bedroom. You don't know him like that. He is
Mhm.
not your kid's father.
Mhm.
And you don't know what this man is capable, like, give it time to
Mhm.
really know what kind of person you're dealing with, because a lot of times it's the mother's boyfriend, or it's the uncle, or it's the neighbor. I'm going to the store. Can you watch Lil Man for 5 minutes? Stop letting people watch your kids. My mother didn't let nobody watch me. Like, I couldn't go anywhere. I had designated houses I could sleep at. And when I tell you there was no guarantee of safety there either, she had done her best to vet these households.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I was always safe in them, but especially if there was a man in the house. But you even
Mhm.
have to watch out for other people's children, is what people don't
Yeah,
understand.
you do. You
You got to
do.
be real careful out here. That's why I'm
You
just
have to
like,
have
be
real
careful.
conversations. And so in that way, I hope that that's part of the book. Where did I just read something sometime about a celebrity who used to have a babysitter come over or something, and the babysitter was it's just so many things that you do have to touch on and your children need to be aware of. And unfortunately, this is the sick society that we live in. But this is not new. It's not new. This is generational years old. This is century years old. This is has been a part of life probably
Yeah.
since Adam and Eve left the garden. That's just it.
Yeah.
People, you have bad characters wanting to do harm to your family and especially your children. So,
And yeah, the author, she comes from a background of being molested and abused. And she's the mom of two. And the final book in the series, Asia's story, deals with teenage intimacy. So what I'm thinking happens here is learning the boundaries as a young woman.
mhm,
When you're in a relationship, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, and what is assault. Because a lot of times as young women, we think because we're dating someone, or that's my boyfriend and we went to prom, that this man or boy has some type of, you know, right to your body, and they do
mhm.
not. So I'm
And
just
that
so glad.
legitimately is being actually taught. I hate to bring up like the evangelical church right now, but they're actually pushing this on, and you see the frame of mind with so many of the religious right in our country that a
Yeah,
woman doesn't should not have autonomy over her body. That, and pushing child marriage on just girls, not boys,
buy
but
the books,
pushing
y'all.
child marriage. And so these are the things that we have to consistently really think about and talk with our children about. It's very sad. It's very
Yeah,
sad.
buy the books,
Yeah.
read them to your children, give them to your child's classroom. Go out
Yeah.
there and
Give them
support
to
this
the
author.
library. See if they're
Yes.
in the library.
Exactly, because this should be part of I think this should be part of a health class. If
Yeah.
your kids are getting if they even give them health anymore, this should be part of a health class, but it should also be part of a class of, when they're teaching hygiene as a child, they teach you how to brush your teeth, they teach you how to comb your hair, teach you how to tie your shoes. They should also be teaching you how to have boundaries about your body. So,
And
yeah, we're
yell
going to
no. Teaching you how to
yeah.
yell no.
Yeah, we told our kids the only time you're allowed to curse is if somebody tries to pick you up and steal you. You can cuss them.
I used to tell my kids that, if somebody runs up on you in the car and they try and get you in the car, fall to the ground, kicking and screaming. It's less likely that they're gonna try and waste time to pick you up bring you into
Just
the
dead
car.
weight. That dead weight that you would give us in
Exactly.
the mall when we passed by Toys R Us and didn't want to go in there, or Child
Mhm.
World, give
Mhm.
us that same energy.
Mhm. Exactly. So, yeah, there's things you have to talk about, so
Yeah.
whew, that was heavy.
Yeah, but that's our Black History Spotlight, and
Mhm.
I'm so proud of this author. And it was heavy, but you know what? Hopefully, if we prevent some kids out there by
Mhm.
sharing this message, by sharing this with our listeners, if we can help prevent another child from being assaulted, then it was worth the heavy conversation.
Yes, yes, and,
Yeah,
we're always gonna have heavy conversations because it's just part of life. That's what it
yeah.
is. So, until next time,
Until next time, tell
have a
them. Do you
great
want to tell them where
week.
to find us? Do you want to tell them?
That's your job.
Okay, fine. I was trying to delegate, but y'all know where to find us. We actually did a live last week on YouTube, so you can
Mhm.
find our lives on YouTube as well as full episodes of the podcast. The full episodes come out on Mondays. We are also available on Spotify. We're available on Apple Podcasts and wherever podcasts are heard. So tune in, listen to our episodes, share our episodes, comment, like, follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook. Those are the only two socials that we're on. If you see us anywhere else, they're pretending to be us. I don't know what else to say.
What we're on iHeartRadio.
Yes,
You
also
always
on
forget
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
Yes, yes. Actually, I should say them first. iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts. That's where we prefer that you listen.
Yes. So until next time,
Until then,
enjoy the week. Tracy and I are gonna go see what's
the
the
roommate.
roommates at Trinity Rep this week. So I'm excited about seeing that. So I think
Ah,
their last run is the end of the month. Hopefully we'll be able to give you a quick review, but I already know it's great. So just buy a ticket anyway and go
yeah,
see
and
the roommates at Trinity.
we have some other surprises coming up before the end of the month. Fingers crossed. We're not going to jinx it right now, but we have some
Hmm.
other stuff happening that we will hopefully be sharing with you by the end of the month too. And also prepare yourselves. Motif is about to open up their spoken word awards again next month.
Hmm.
Get ready. I hope we make the list. If we make the list, we're going to be begging for them votes. So just get ready. Just get ready. So you don't got
Okay.
to get ready so you'll be ready.
There you go. All right. Have a great one. Enjoy the week.
Bye.